Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daniel Coker, your regular host of the Against All Odds podcast. I want to welcome you to this week's episode, and we're privileged to have with us a very experienced person that I've known for many years. He's in the person of Mr. Isaac Emmil Osei-Bonsu, also known as Berima Kwekudia, and he's a senior partner at Mentorship. So that's the lawyers in Accra, Ghana. So, welcome.
Thank you, Daniel. And welcome to Accra, because it's been a while since I saw you.
It's been a while. The last time I think we met was we should be on the same flight together.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Yes.
But then you went the right side of the plane, I went the left side of the plane.
I do not recall that. I don't recall that. Anyway, good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you as well.
Yeah.
So, Isaac, you have a very interesting career path. You educated in National School. You had a first degree in law, followed by the bar, and also you did an executive MBA from the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration. And you're currently a senior partner at Mentorship, which in my estimation is arguably one of the best legal firms on the continent. And you're also a traditional leader with a stool name of Berima Kwekudia.
That is.
Tell us about your journey.
Oh, my journey. My journey from, I don't know where to start from.
Wherever you want to start from.
Well, my formative years, my primary school education was held at Morning Star.
Okay.
Around the corner of the Morning Star, just right here. Left Morning Star in 1982, went to Achimota School.
Okay.
Did my O and A level at Achimota School. Went to the University of Ghana. Did my first degree in law. Did my bar. Came out. I began to practice. In between, several things have happened, And so, yeah, but my journey has been pretty. It's been a pretty straight line journey.
Okay.
Nothing very, out of, shall I call it, out of place hasn't happened. Okay. It's been pretty straight journey.
Okay.
Did everything that I had to do
Okay.
to actually get to where I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you at an early age ever see yourself as being a lawyer? Did you grow up in a legal home? What was the influence? Why law?
I did. But my father was a lawyer. But I grew up in a family of lawyers. I am a typical action man. Who will be there? Action people. Mounsel is what we will live by. All right. Okay. And so yes, I didn't have a choice, to be honest. But my father was a lawyer. I was told that I was going to be a lawyer when I was probably maybe 5 or 6 years old. So I just followed that path.
Okay.
And exactly that's what happened.
So what was it like growing up in the Osei-Bonsu household?
Oh my God.
I don't know much about your mother as well.
Yes, well, but my mother was the first black female librarian south of the Sahara. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I grew up in a house of books.
Right.
I grew up in a house of books. I am the last born out of 6 kids.
Okay.
So what was it like, 5 boys and 1 girl? And then being the last born, whoa, it was very, very interesting. But I learned a lot. I learned because I had big brothers and senior brothers who had all sorts of friends coming in. So yes, but my home was always friends. Anybody who would know us, but the family knows that when we were living in a Roman rich, our house was always full of people, always, all sorts. So I grew up learning a lot from all sorts of people. And yes, it was a very interesting childhood. And yes, I really enjoyed it. I told you.
So as you're saying, your father sort of guided you or steered you along a legal path. Yeah. Did any of the other siblings have come under the same pressure to pursue a legal career?
No. Surprisingly not.
Well, are you the only lawyer?
Yes.
Okay.
I am the only lawyer. And because, but my father was called Isaac Emmil Osei-Bonsu as well. I was so I think the fact that he named me
Right.
after himself, it was a no-brainer.
Right.
I had to take it up.
Right. So it sounds a bit like the Williams sisters. I mean, was your father like I wouldn't say domineering, but was he sort of very strict and very?
No, not really. No,
Okay.
it wasn't as if you have to do it, but it was as if you have to do it.
So he expected to do it, right?
Yeah. So it wasn't as if I was forced to, but it was just a natural thing to do because he was one. Nobody was really pursuing law, and he was called Isaac. He named me after himself. Apparently, I look like a lot, So it was just natural, and that's exactly what happened.
So obviously, I've known you for many years, and I've seen 3 different phases of you. I've seen the early phase, which is what most people know, right?
The early phase.
The early phase, right?
That is the Wagus phase.
That's the Wagus
Yes.
phase. Well, I didn't want to mention that name, but that's the Wagus phase.
Yes.
But then somewhere along the line, the Wagus phase was characterized. For those of you who are not familiar, it was characterized by very raucous living and very kind of everywhere, and
I was a little
the
of
life
party
is
boy.
life is the soul of the party.
Yes. Well, but I still am. When I go out,
Okay.
I still am the soul of the party. Yes.
Okay. And then I see the second phase, which is the becoming of a professional.
Yes.
And sort of having that professional image. And I said I'm very observant. You might not know, but I observe things, and I've played golf with you, and I've seen and I've heard you have very serious and intelligent conversations. Even in an informal setting. So that's the professional side. And suddenly I'm thinking, this is not a man I knew. This guy knows his stuff. This guy is thinking about stuff. He's not just kind of coasting through life and things are happening. So I've observed that side.
Right.
And then there's this other side, which is the statesman side, where you are sort of occupying this leadership role, traditional ruler and all that. And it's quite interesting to see the transition from your early years through the professional stage, and now this leadership role. I mean, how did this all happen?
I'll tell you how. Sometimes I even ask myself, how did it happen? Because of course, but for many of us who know me, Wagus. I was, I wouldn't say loud, but I was very much out there.
Yeah.
Maybe you could use the word, I was a very popular person.
Yeah, I agree.
And in those days, for you to be a popular person, that means you must be very much out there. You must be a party boy. You must be going on every night. You must be at every party, nightclubs. The works. But there are phases in everybody's life. Everybody needs to transition at some point, right? What was important, or what is important for most people to know, is that at the end of the day, we all go back to different homes, different backgrounds, and we account to different people. There are different responsibilities, different. When we are together, it is always one thing, but when we depart, it's a different agenda. Now, for me, I always knew that this was where I was going to get to because of my home. My dad was a lawyer, my mom was a librarian, and I knew that the only way to succeed in life was to read, period. Right. And so, naturally, if you are going to transition with the path of reading, then you are going to have to transition into the path of being a professional. You don't have a choice, right? So that is how the Wagus that or most people knew, had to transition into that. I had to become a lawyer. I had to read. And then, of course, because I was born into a royal family. My mother is the daughter of Nanasse Uforiata I.
Oh, okay.
That is a chick.
Okay.
You know, so
Is that his picture over there?
that's his picture right there.
Okay.
Right. And so then, when the time came for me to become a chief, it was a natural transition because I had been born into it. So so these things, you know, this was the path that had been charted for me, right? You know, and I just did exactly what I had to do. I had to do it. There was nothing really for me to do apart from that. I mean, those days I was all over the place, but I couldn't sing. I couldn't be a musician, you know. And of course, I mean, I loved the idea of being like a banker, but you know, my maths was horrible, so I just decided to do the law. You know, so it's been a natural transition that I had to read to get to where I was supposed to get to, and that is I had to become a professional. So then I became one, and then if you're an African, you know, there's always something about your roots. There's always you could be the biggest professional, whatever, but you must always get back to your roots. And my roots was the stool of the Ochimai.
Okay.
Right. So when I was called by Osei Bonsu of Ripeni, who is the Ochimai, to come and serve as the Itriena Nahini, that's the Ahimena Nahini. That means the chief of all of the descendants of the stool, all the grandchildren. You know, it was a calling. I didn't have a choice. I had to go and serve.
So why were you chosen? I mean, because there must have been others who could have chosen.
Oh my God! It's a huge family. I mean, there were others. This is a family that, you know, consists of, I don't know. I mean, currently the president of the republic. President and the finance minister. And, you know, it's a very huge family. Why was I chosen? You know, I can't tell you why. I just, you know, I was chosen.
Was it a surprise? You know,
well,
did you have to go through a process? Was there a selection process?
There was a selection process. I didn't put my hat, you know, my name into the hat.
The ring.
I mean, you know that look, you know. So, but I guess that they saw something in me. You know?
And also, you're very young, so I'm just trying to reconcile.
Yes, I became Itriena Nahini when I was 43. This is my 10th year.
Wow.
Well, yeah, you know, and yeah, I was chosen, but I guess you are always chosen by Almighty God. If you are ordained.
Because the reason I ask that is that role normally requires people of great wisdom and sort of sagacity and very.
Yes.
There's a certain, and you know what I'm talking about. It's not just a title.
Yes.
You know, there are certain attributes that go with royalty.
Yes.
You know, and for someone so young, you know, obviously presiding over people who are much older and all that. I mean, how did you overcome that? The perception of being like a little kid on the block, you know, who has done well and maybe, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think I picked up a few tricks when I was younger, you know, being one who's helped. because now, you know, I understood how to deal with people. I have always dealt with people.
Right.
You know, from a very, very early age in my career, you know, and you know, the thing about being a leader that most people don't appreciate, I mean, being chieftaincy, politics, whatever.
Business, whatever.
You know, even in your own firm, it's that a leader serves.
Okay.
A leader serves.
Okay.
Once that becomes your mantra, you would naturally become wise.
Okay.
You will naturally adopt the sagacity, as you call it. Because if your agenda is to serve, every decision that you take is thought through, is wise, people respect it, it's fair, it is not partial, so the moment that I realized that being elevated to this role really was being asked to serve in this role, everything came naturally. Because service became the agenda. And that is what has served me for the past 10 years.
So you didn't find it intimidating? How did it feel?
But initially,
after you had just been...
yes, initially, there is this thing that I tell people that the day after I was installed as a chief, I remember that day, 20th of July 2013. The next day, I have now been installed, I was now the chief, etc. I was at home, and then, my people came to tell me, oh, you have some business. So, okay, so who are they? It's all of your uncles. And I'm talking, my uncles were 80, 85-year-old men. And also your aunties as well. These were very old. These are my mother's brothers and sisters. Very old at that time, 80, 85, 78. So then I went out, and there were about 5 or 6.
This was in your home, your private home, not in the palace?
This was in the private home in the village, yes.
Okay, private home in the village, okay.
Yeah. And then I walk out, and they all rise. Each and every one of them stand up. And my uncles bring down their cloth. Now, anytime that somebody brings down their cloth for you, it's a sign of respect. It's a sign of, you are my leader. That's why I bring down my cloth for you. Now, that was one of the most humbling moments in my entire life. To see all of them rise and bow to me. At that moment, I realized that I had become their servant.
Wow, not their leader?
No.
Wow,
no.
That's deep.
That moment, I realized that for anybody to give you this amount of respect, then you are to serve the person. You are not to disappoint them. You are to lead properly. Because they are relying on you to do the right things. And that is what has helped me up to this point, to be honest.
What is the pressure like? Because being the public eye, and especially with your leadership role,
yes.
There's great expectation on you to improve people's lives, to make wise decisions and all that. How do you handle that weight of expectation?
Sometimes I ask myself how I do it, because I sit in my law firm, as a senior partner. I go to the village as a chief. I have other things that I do, and it's. But I guess what has kept me going is that I don't have a minute.
Okay.
I really don't have a minute. I hardly have any spare time to do anything at all, and that has been going on for 10, 15 odd years, maybe. And so I wouldn't call it that I am under pressure. I would just call it, this is what I do every day.
Right. So you kind of normalize it.
I have
normalized.
Yes. This is what
the
I do.
hectic.
This is what I do every day. Right. Because and I have to wear different caps at different times. Sometimes I change 2 or 3 caps a day.
Really?
I am this in the morning and I'm that in the afternoon. So you are going to have to normalize it to make sure that it doesn't, overwhelm you.
Okay.
Right. And I think I've largely normalized it.
So, I've interviewed a few people. I think I mentioned to you that this was something that came about by accident. I was in Portugal, and I was with Peter Kwakwa and Jota Kwakwa and others. And the idea just dropped that maybe I need to capture their stories.
Right.
And I've gone on to interview a few people since then, but you're the first person I'm interviewing who has, I'd say, the most boring CV. and why do I say that?
Yeah,
I don't say that in a derogatory.
No, I know.
Your CV is half a page or a quarter of a page.
Quarter of a page.
Yes.
A quarter of a page. Yes.
And you've been at the same law firm, for the past 20-something years.
Yes. And 26 and change.
And change, yeah.
Yes.
And my question is, why have you, pitched your tent, at a practice that doesn't bear your name?
Yes.
You could have gone, I've known you, you could have gone and set up a law firm anywhere.
Yes.
It wouldn't have been a problem, and you would have done well.
Yeah.
But it's very unusual for someone of your capacity and what you could have done to take a decision to attach yourself to someone else's legal practice, but then add value in that space and stay in that space. It's odd.
That is interesting, Yeah, I mean, okay. Now, when you say that I have a short CV, it is because of how I choose to write my CV. Because, of course, I mean, I choose not to include the numerous boards that I serve on, or the boards that I chair.
Okay.
Or people write a CV and they write like the seminars that they do, and they think like the seminar there. With Harvard, May 16 to like June 27. No.
Did a short course here?
Yes. No, I do not. I don't write my CV like that.
Okay.
And also, I've worked at Minka Premier Co. since February 97.
Okay.
So
how old was the firm at that time?
The firm was a year old.
Okay. I mean, the reason I asked was just before I came in, I saw your 25 year, and I know you've been here that long.
Yes.
So I'm thinking that, why did you pitch your tent with someone who just started out?
It's very interesting. Let me tell you how I even joined Minka Premier Co. It's very interesting. At the time when I had finished law school, there was a lawyer in Accra called Mr. Eko Awon. May his soul rest in peace. He was my mentor. I loved Eko. He was me at that time. Fashionable, flashy. He was the guy.
Okay.
And everybody wanted to work with Eko. Because he was a real guy.
Right.
And sharp too.
Okay.
And sharp too. So I should have began working with him sometime in October '96, but I delayed in the working. I mean, I was in the UK then, came in February '97. So I came in and I went to his office. He was like, but your slot has been taken by Kizita Mensah. And that she is doing just a short pupillage here. And so she will leave in maybe September, thereabouts. So when she leaves, you can come in, okay? Because you were late, like he would have loved to have me. And there was another lawyer in his office called Eugene Glover-Tay. Eugene. And Eugene said, you know what? Eugene's friend was a guy called Wallace, Mr. Wallace Bruce Catley. Now Wallace, he is my partner now.
Okay.
And you say, you know what, Wallace and some guy from the Ashanti region, Kumasi, they've set up some small 2-room office somewhere in, Madabraka. So you just go there, go and hang there. And then when she leaves, then you come.
Okay.
It's like, no, I would like to wait till she leaves. So like, no, but you'll be waiting for like 4 months. So just go and see Wallace. And this guy from Kumasi, they have the letter of, so you just go and set it up. I was like, we have come to work with the you are taking me somewhere else. So I went home, told about that. Okay, no problem. So then I went to see Wallace. But I knew Wallace a bit. But he said, yes, he and this guy who was originally a Kumasi-based lawyer, had this, it was 2 rooms under a bridge somewhere, Madagascar somewhere. I was like, yeah, okay, but to sit at home for 4 months before I go to a course, plush offices. Let me start with this. Now, fast forward, 4 months later, a call came to me and said, okay, Kizita's gone, so, can you do it? And I said no.
Wow.
I told him no, I was sitting. Because my senior, Justice Mika Prem, after 4 months with him, I knew that I was not going to leave him.
Wow.
He is the consummate lawyer. Consummate lawyer. Very sharp, very deep, and I knew instantly that this is where I wanted to be. All right, because at that time I could see how my career would actually pan out after 4 months. And if I wanted to be a good lawyer, law is a business, right? It's the business of, actually practicing law and also making some money.
Absolutely.
I had a knack of making money. It wasn't a problem,
Right.
making money. But money is not everything at all.
Yeah.
You must have spent. You must
be solid.
You must be solid. And you must be trained to be solid. And at that particular moment, I thought that the person who could train me to be solid was Mr. Justice Kusimi Kapra. So I decided to sit with him and learn. Now, 5 years down the line, all of my mates were now leaving their firms to go and set up law firms. In fact, look, there are not more than maybe 10 lawyers in the entire country who are like me, who have come into a firm, not your father's firm, not your uncle's firm, as a total stranger, and I've sat in for 25 years plus. Eventually, they leave. 90% of the time, they'll leave to then set up their own firms, as if they have no, family connection or some kind of connection to the firm.
To keep them in. Yeah.
So after 5 years, everybody that I knew that I had come out of law school with was going to set up their firms. I could have set up one easily, taking a 2-room office
Somewhere
in Smith's building and then put
your name,
my name there. But for me, it has never been about having my name on the nameplate. Never. In fact, I dare say, if you mention me, Captain today, everybody thinks that it is me. So then, I need not have it. Yes, but I need not have put my name on the nameplate. But after 5 years, I had the option of going to set up or learning some more. It was a very, very easy choice. So when I was offered the partnership, in about 2001, I was like the youngest partner ever. When Jay offered me a partnership, I grabbed it. Asage is going to set up. Right? Because law, it's it is constant. Like you constantly need to read, and this is somebody that I could learn with, I could grow with. So I decided to sit in and become a better lawyer and train other lawyers. And the rest is history. 25, 26 years later, I'm still here. So when I give the CV, I've only worked in one place for 26 years.
Wow. So this thing sounds like a reward of loyalty. And you must have seen, as you're saying, so I know you're very good with people, and you're also very good at spotting opportunities. So you must have seen, for you to have turned down a plush role, in an already made law firm.
Yes.
to pitch your tent with somebody who was now starting out, but who you could see rising to a certain height, and you chose the less attractive option.
Yes.
You know, and I mean today, look at yourself.
Yes.
You know, it's quite interesting because oftentimes people always they want the best opportunity, the best offers, the most money.
Yes.
You know, but you chose rather to learn.
Yes.
And I believe that there's no one that I've met who has succeeded who has an added value. So it sounds like as you stayed, you found your niche within the firm.
Yes.
And added value within that role,
Yes.
which was recognized.
Yes.
You know, and I haven't met Justin, but it
Yes.
sounds like he's a very intelligent
Amazing man. And you know that, see, the thing about law firms is that, you know, look, it's all about the partnership. The partnership should work. You know, people have tried. I mean, there are some that have been successful, some have failed, and the reasons are really subjective. But there is one underlying thing that has to be there at all times. That is trust. You know, because the nature of the business is such that the partners must trust themselves.
Right.
You know, and I and my partners, Wallace and Mr. Makeup, and now we have new partners. So we have about 8 now.
Oh,
You know,
really? Okay.
I mean, but the firm has grown from 2.5 lawyers, because at that time, say 3 lawyers to now we are maybe one of the largest firms.
Okay.
In the country, we are about 40 lawyers now,
Okay.
based in Accra and Kumasi as well. So, you know, but you see, I had to take a decision that would last.
Okay.
And the decision, and for lawyers, what would make you last is your depth and your understanding of law and the terrain.
Okay.
Right. And because the terrain demands a lot. It demands integrity. It demands discipline and focus. Right. And most people can get 1 or 2 of them right. But for you to get it all together, you must be in good company. You must be in good company. And the vibes should be right. And that's what has kept me in my firm for the past 26 years.
So how important would you say mentorship is to a person's career progression? Because it sounds like you were mentored by
I was.
by Jay.
By Jay, yes.
Okay. Was he the main person who mentored you?
Yes,
or
yes.
others as well?
No, I would say it was him.
Okay.
You know, really, because, you know, mentorship is key. You see, you must, what I tell people is that we didn't come and invent the wheel. We came to perfect the wheel. That is what mentorship means. You need to know a wheel. You must be looking at the wheel. Right. There must be a wheel in front of you. And you must work towards being better than that wheel. Right? Do not come and invent anything. Because it's been done already. It's been done already. So just look at what has been done and work towards improving yourself against what has been done. And so it is key to pick good mentors. Because you could pick a bad mentor, which would then be a bad wheel. And then you wouldn't perfect a bad wheel. You will and also I do not believe in having multiple mentors. Maybe some do, but I don't, because you get confused. You know, everybody comes with a different approach to life and to work. So if you are lucky enough to get a good mentor, which I was lucky enough to have, then it's easier for you.
So do you think it was luck that, you know, I mean, your role at Amuna was taken and then you ended up with this
Pure
level?
luck. Pure luck.
Because
luck,
it could have...
providence, and my destiny.
Okay. Isaac, so another thing I know about you is that you're extremely disciplined. People don't know that.
Ah, yes.
So you're you're one of the most disciplined people that I've known. Can you tell us what discipline means to you?
Oh my God, that's a big one. Oh, wow, discipline. Discipline is about doing the right thing when you can, most times.
Okay.
It is about having the right thoughts, always. Because discipline is an agenda. You must have an agenda to be disciplined. And you must learn to be disciplined. Because people think, for me, I may be wrong, it doesn't come naturally to you. It is something that you must aspire to be, right? And that is what it means to me. It means that you must have the presence of mind to do the right things and to work within a certain limit at all points in time. Look, for me, when people talk about discipline, or when they talk about indiscipline these days, indiscipline is just not having any focus, right? Is being, just doing what you want, when you want, without recourse to how it will affect somebody or it will affect society, right? But if you work within the remit of improving yourself and improving your relationship with other people and society, that is discipline.
So this is something
that is discipline.
It's something that you need. It requires a deliberate effort.
But for me, it does. It does in the beginning. In the beginning, it does. After a while, it becomes part and parcel.
It becomes normalized.
It becomes normalized. But you must make a conscious effort to begin to think and act a certain way. And after a while, it becomes your life. So anything that you do to the contrary, it rather seems or looks odd, you would say. So that's exactly what it means.
Okay, so let me just take you back, because thoughts just come to my mind. You see, the legal practice, there are many lawyers out there who might be knowledgeable and intelligent, okay? But that in itself does not guarantee success in building a multi-million-dollar law firm.
Yes,
okay.
absolutely.
So with all due respect, I know that it doesn't just come on the back of being intelligent.
Yes.
You need to know many other things. You need to know how to make money. You need to know how to build clients. You need to know how to, go for certain contracts.
But you must be deeply networked.
Right.
But you must be deeply networked. This is a business where you're not allowed to advertise, at least in Ghana.
Right. Okay.
Of course, now it's changing. As for America, you can take a billboard out and things like that. Here you're not allowed to advertise. So how would people know about you? I remember, there is this thing that I tell my young lawyers here. I remember those days. There was a nightclub in Ghana called His Majesty. Those days, I don't know whether you know. Because you Mr. Booker did not do nightclubs. Yes, and there was this nightclub called, but on Friday night, it was pumping. It was the place to go. And I'm talking 97, 98, thereabouts. And I used to go there on Friday nights. I remember once I left home at about midnight, going there. I got to His Majesty, which was in Labadi, or which is in Labadi somewhere. Got there and I realized that I left my complimentary cards at home. I drove back home to Downsoma because I left my cards. Because one of the reasons why I was going to the club was to share my cards.
Okay.
So imagine at midnight getting to the nightclub and realizing that you don't have your cards on you. I had to drive back home because The reason, because you have to let people know what you do. And the thing is this, letting people know what you do is one thing, but also executing the job is another. Because you could have all of the networks, but if you are given a job to do and you mess it up, nobody's going to come back to you again, right? But you must start with some networking. So yes, you can be disciplined, focused, etc. That's true. But you must, in the business of law, you must be known somewhat. And where you are not allowed to advertise, I mean, so people use all sorts of things. You know, they go to men's fellowship. You know,
we got the lodge and
Lord, you and I. I mean, you and I love golf. It's a good place to network. You know, you know, but you must always, to be a lawyer in private practice, you must find a way to let people know who you are and what you do. And that's why people choose us to waste.
How important is it to have a good name? Because when you mention the name Menka, it's associated with excellent service. It's that, okay, I mean, obviously you're a high-end legal practice. You know, you're not a run-of-the-mill sort of legal practice. So people know that, okay, fine, you're going to have to pay for the service. A bit. Why not? But then they know that they're going to get value for money because the name carries with it a certain presence. How important do you think it is?
A name is everything. A good name is everything in our business. A good name is everything. You know, because again, as I said, look, you could be deeply networked. When you say a good name, it transcends a lot of things. Because you could have a bad name simply by you not being not able to execute. That will give you a bad name. Right? So, for your business to be sustained over 25 years, put it that way, that long, and then one of the key components or one of the key missions of the firm is to maintain a good name. And to do that, you must deliver excellent service. The quality of the service should be high. And you must be deeply transparent. I mean, look, not to say anything, but in our business, you know, lawyers, sometimes you are put in situations that could, you know, compromise you. You are put in positions of trust where you handle people's affairs, their money, and people have made mistakes, big lawyers have made mistakes, and then have been known to be that lawyer that you know cannot be trusted. But in the business of law, trust is critical. It is currency, right? And so, again, just like I told you about being disciplined, you must make a conscious effort from get-go to have a good name. After a while, it normalizes. Everything that you do works, you know, towards that. But it must be something that you are conscious of it from the get-go. This is what we are going to do to maintain a good name. We are going to be clean, execute good work, be a trustworthy, be a transparent. You do all of that as a mantra, and trust me, if you, after you've done it for a year or 2, 3, 4, 5, it will be difficult for you to not to keep on that path.
So, in regard to this, have you ever had to walk away from some deals and some transactions because it was inconsistent with your values and stuff like that? I mean, you meet lawyers who defend, you know, murderers and drug dealers and stuff like that. I mean, would you walk away from something that?
But the question is, have I had some shady? I'm a lawyer. I mean, that's for that one, Daniel. That's for that one. Lawyers, you know, you have your clients.
Okay.
But of course, then that's why there's lawyer-client
confidentiality.
I mean, you cannot always have a clean client.
Okay.
No, it is not possible. There is no lawyer that I know on God on earth who can say that all of his clients are clean and speaking. No. We have clients that have made some mistakes.
Okay. Mistake.
Yes.
Let's call it a mistake.
Yeah. And so yes, and so but your job is to try and correct those mistakes as best as you can. And of course, there are one or two mistakes that you say, you know what, maybe this one, I might not want to get involved in it. But largely, if it's a good paying a brief, and
you might look at it,
and you can
turn it around.
Of course, yes.
Why not? So you mentioned earlier about the fact that you started off like networking, giving out your cards and all that. Yeah. But I also know that currently now you're not somebody who is big into socializing. You tend to, this is like 7 o'clock here, and this is like we're already here, and you're already at work. And I know you start your days earlier, and you're home quite early as well, and you stay at home. What has happened to the old waggles?
Oh no, the old waggles is the old waggles is there. I'm tired.
Right.
I've been there, done that, and I bought a T-shirt too. I'm tired. I don't socialize a lot these days. Again, that has been going on for about 10 years or so. And it is not because of anything. It is just that I like to go home. I am one of the people. It sounds boring to tell you that, but I am a TV addict.
Okay.
Yeah, deeply addicted.
Okay. So what do you watch on TV?
Everything. Netflix. Netflix is my thing.
Okay.
I
know that.
Yeah, so I could be at home the entire weekend from Friday night to Monday morning and not leave my room and just watch Netflix there for the whole weekend. Because I don't socialize a lot because I get tired. During the week, as I told you that I wear mini caps sometimes, and I just like to go home. I like to be in the comfort of my home, and so. But old waggles pops up once in a while. That is if there's this place that I have to be at, that I have to be at, I will go. Okay. But I'm not one to say. Let us just put it this way. I don't have to drink every night something.
Okay.
No. Or I don't go to a party every weekend. So but it's fine. But I guess it's a phase in everybody's life. You go through that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Again, another decision that you made, which was kind of out of the ordinary. I think your wife is from the north.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh.
So
you must be investigating me.
No, I'm not a CIA.
Lynn, that is the love of my life. That is my pillar, my strength.
Okay. I've never met her. Was she investigating?
She was in Legon. Yes. I met her in Legon in 1992. It's been 92 to now.
Oh wow.
What was that? 30?
Yeah, about that.
Wow.
31 years, yeah.
31 years, yes. Lynn, yes, because I am a typical action boy, but I found my peace in the north. My wife is from a village in the north called Nandom, and I always tell her that they are from
Burkina Faso.
Because it is so close to what, But yes, I have been with her for 1 odd years. We were boyfriend girlfriend for like 8 years, and then got married in the year 2000. I have 2 wonderful children. My daughter, who is in her final year law, she had to follow, and then my son, who is writing his what's it called? Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So yes. My family has been part of the discipline that I've lived with, because look, that behind, and this is not a cliche. behind every successful man, there's a woman. It is not a cliche. I mean, people say, you know, that, but for me, that is it. You know, but my wife has been my rock. You know, I mean, we've been a couple for 30 odd years and some. And so, clearly, I couldn't have done everything that I've done or that I've achieved on my own. I must have had some kind of support from somebody. And apart from my firm and then my partners, that is definitely one of the pillars that has been behind me. That has been who I am.
So looking back, did you ever see yourself being as successful as you've become? Was it something that you envisioned, or I know you've been disciplined and you followed a path and you've kind of made wise choices, but did you ever envision this? I mean, us sitting in your lovely office, did you ever see this happening?
Yeah.
You did? Yes. Okay. I know that's the old one.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tanya, as I said, right from the beginning, I said, we all went back home to different vibes. I mean, when we were in Motown, 6 from 5, etc. I always knew that I was going to be a professional. That one I knew. I didn't have a choice. There was a path that was laid out, and I knew that this was the path that I was going to follow. So, when you say that, did I always knew that I was going to be this successful? Maybe, but the answer should be I always knew that I was going to be a professional.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And so the rest was up to me, really.
Okay.
How I maneuvered that path. And yes, I must admit that I have chalked some, successes, in my life. But yes, that is it. I knew that I was going to be a professional, and I was going to aspire to be a good one.
One of the things one of the titles you also hold, or things you also do, is the Consul General of Jamaica.
One there. Yes.
How did that happen?
That's a good one. Yes. Well, Jamaica don't have an embassy here.
Okay.
In Ghana, they don't have an embassy or like a high commission here, but there are more Jamaicans. I mean, this country, Ghana, hosts more Jamaicans than any country in the entire Africa.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right. But their embassy is located somewhere in Nigeria, Abuja.
Okay.
Just for strategic reasons, because of the size of Nigeria, etc. They couldn't afford to have one here and then one in Nigeria. So, look, I don't know how to start. I got a call. In fact, I went to a meeting in Morocco sometime in 2000, and I met this guy, and when we were talking about Ghana, he said, but come on, Ghana, they don't have a consulate. Jamaicans. I'm like, no, it's like, would you like to be? I thought, Jamaica, because I remember Motown, Jamaica was and still is like the name, reggae. I used to be part of the band, remember? So I was like, Jamaica, you want me to be their ambassador? And I was like, okay, is that possible? I was like, yeah. And he called the Prime Minister right there in front of me. He said, I think that I found the guy for you. Because I think I found the guy for you. I'm like, so then he put me on the phone with the Prime Minister. I said, yes, sir. They said, Prime Minister, they go, yeah, boy, what one day, you're cool? I'm like, yeah. I'm cool. The rest is history. It took them 10 months for them to do their
investigation.
Some deep, because Jamaica is still
under the monarchy.
Under the monarchy. At that time it was the Queen, who was the head of state. So you largely represent the Queen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so they need to dig. So in fact, but I tell people that, me actually, I've been very clean because I have been dug by the Queen already. I am sure that they found some things, but those things, they really don't matter. But after 10 months to like a year, but they came back and said, yeah, they had done their due diligence on me, and the rest is history. And since then, I have been their honorary consul. It's been a very interesting journey, because, and that is one of the caps that I wear, because, I have to act as an ambassador sometimes too. And there are a lot of Jamaicans in Ghana. So I run a full-time office. Full-time. But I do everything. I issue visas, passports, everything. I run this is the Jamaican High Commission. When you came here, you saw the flag.
I saw the flag.
Yes.
There's the flag on your desk as well.
There's a flag on my desk. I have to fly a flag at home. And so yes. So but it's all part of the agenda to serve. Because it is all part of the agenda. Just serving in different roles. But serving positively and serving impactfully. It is all part of that.
But it's quite interesting that you said that you happened to be at this conference and you met this guy and he did he know you or had he heard about you?
We actually had a common friend, and so we all met together, and we had been together for like 3 days, So, but I guess he had, after the third day was like he liked what he saw, more or less, and I also believe that there had been a conversation, or there was this ongoing conversation for them to have a representative in Ghana. So he just managed to pick it up and just called the Prime Minister, and the rest is history.
The reason I ask this question is, from the few people I've interviewed, it's a theme that keeps coming up, that you never know who's watching.
Yes.
You never know who's watching. Yes. And what you just said seems to confirm that this guy must have been observing.
Yes.
It was like casual conversation, but he was making certain observations.
Yes, absolutely.
And based on those observations, he came to the conclusion
absolutely.
that you would fit the role.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Isaac, as we prepare to round up this interview, because I know you've got a very busy day ahead.
Well, yes.
A little bit of time.
Yeah.
I also know that you sit on the board for the National Communication Authority, which is like a public service company that you are. Tell us a bit about that. What's the objective of that?
Okay. Well, so that is my I call it my national service.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I do chair the board of the National Communications Authority, which you all know that's the telecom regulator. It's a very interesting job.
Okay.
And I have been chairing the board since 2021. I was called upon by the president.
Okay.
When it is a second term, when he won it. And I remember being called one night, and because look, for me, right from the get-go, I never wanted to be involved in politics or anything political. I was happy to be, but to do what I do. But for some reason, I was called up one night. I remember that night. It was about 10 p.m. and somebody from the president's office called me and said, hello, Mr. Osei-Bonsu, but the president wants you to send him a CV. And I'm like, what for? And what for? And he goes, you are being considered to be the chairman of the NCA. Because by the NCA is a very sensitive place. You are like the second most powerful regulator in the country, apart from the Bank of Ghana. It's a very sensitive place. And I was like, okay, but you and I know that my CV is about
very short.
It's about a quarter of a page. So I was like, really? So then I sent them that a CV, which was a quarter of a page CV. And then I was called in by the president to have a long chat. And about what he wanted from me and what he was, envisaging, what he really wanted me to do. And the rest is just, I said, okay, very well. Because, again, at some point in time, you must serve in any capacity that you are called upon to do. And this was a noble cause. This was being able to go and chair this powerful regulator, a regulator that required you, in the scheme of things, to be very impartial, to be very solid, to be very focused, because there's a lot of interest there, so you need to be very careful, how you work there. And it's been so far so good, difficult, a very, very, challenging role, but as I said, we are wearing many caps, so then I wear that cap too. I have to wear the cap of being a regulator, a telecom regulator.
So you deal with people like
Eben.
MTN.
Oh, Mr. Asante. I had a meeting with him 2 days ago. Yes.
I was talking with him, I think it was on a flight somewhere.
Yes.
Chat with him pretty much throughout the night, so wherever he was.
I mean, in fact, he was sitting where you are sitting, right? Yes.
I didn't tell him I was going to be interviewed.
Oh, good, Oh, brilliant. Yes. Him, Eben, Vodafone, the internet issues, ISP, the data, television licenses, radio licenses. And it's very broad.
Very broad remit.
Yes, remit. But we are doing it. As I said, that's a cap that I wear. I wear the cap of being the honorary consul. I wear the cap of being the senior partner of my firm. I wear the cap of being the chief in the village. So maybe that is why I don't have much time to do, some things. But I think that all in all, the underlying agenda of all of this thing is that, if you serve and you serve properly, and you serve with some diligence, you serve transparently, you serve passionately, you serve honestly, you will be rewarded.
Yeah, just as we wrap up this interview, I also know that you're very passionate about training young people and building up the next generation of leaders.
Yes.
Just a little bit about that.
Look, my firm make a protocol, but I think that we are like a factory floor. Okay. That is all that we do here. For me, I have trained many lawyers who have gone on to set up their own firms. I have also trained lawyers who now sit, on the bench now, and yes, and we have a training wing in the firm. Okay. We train people, not only lawyers but non-lawyers, to understand and then appreciate law. So I always say, look, you are never fulfilled as a person if you cannot point to maybe 2 or 3 people that you have helped better their lives. But you cannot be fulfilled as a leader if you cannot point to people that you have impacted, that you have trained, that you worked on. Now the thing is, you just don't have to train just for your training sake. You must train in a way that would help them get to the next step. Or you must, what I tell my lawyers is that I am training you to become better than me. That's when I know that I have succeeded. When a young lawyer comes here to work with us, and after 2 years, 3 years, I go downstairs and I say, whose Mercedes is that? They say, it's for common. Oh, wow, the boy is doing well. For me, the mere fact, or but they come to me and say, oh, sir, I'm buying a house, or like I'm getting married. I am deeply fulfilled. That means I'm doing something right. That means I am improving something. Yes, exactly. And that is, our training is all focused in that path to help better people.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because people who don't know you might have a certain perception of you. They might see your. I know you like nice cars.
Oh well, I mean,
It's one of your weaknesses.
oh, one is allowed a nice car. Yes, I do like nice cars. Yes.
So people might see you driving Maybach or whatever it is.
Yes,
and might
yes,
think,
yes, yes.
really, there's a softer side to you. There's a side of service, a side of helping
Well,
people.
because people want to see what they see, right? Yes, I mean you can't judge a man by his car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean as for car, that I will not compromise. I am known to always drive a big car, but then that's me.
Yeah.
That is that's me. That is my. You can call it a brand. Yeah, because I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I work hard. So,
Why not?
I deserve a toy or two, right? Yeah, but that's that. That is just one aspect of my life. The real core agenda is different. And again, at the peril of sounding like a broken record, the core agenda is to serve and to do better and to help you.
Well, Isaac, thank you very much for your time. I know you've got a very busy day ahead of you, and I've already taken up a lot of your time. So, thank you very much. And what do you think of what we're trying to do?
But I think it's excellent, because I mean I have watched your people, Mr. Saku, crazy the other day. Look, there have been different paths taken by different people, but it all leads to one agenda or to one goal, doing well. And so, a young person that is coming up now can watch all of these interviews and pick one. Pick one of us to try and emulate. As I said, this morning, I would not advise somebody to pick 5 of us. Because it's really different agendas, different paths, different motives, etc. So what you're doing is an excellent job, because it gives. I mean, if it hadn't been for you, I would never have signed up for an interview.
I know.
Yeah, I would not, because for me,
I don't do this kind of thing.
No, I don't do it. I mean, I've never found it necessary, to
publicize yourself.
I am already I am as well public
as I need to be.
as I need to be. But I think it's good. Gives us a chance to tell people how the path is being. And yes, I think you are doing a good job. You should continue. I hope you find people that are not as boring as me. that will have more inspiring, or intriguing stories to tell. But it's been good. It's been great having this chat with you.
Yeah. Thank you once again. Thank you very
Pleasure,
much,
Daniel. And I wish you all the best. And we should play around soon.
We definitely should play around soon. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed this video, I want you to like the video, put some comments in, share and subscribe. We're trying to build a platform, and we need subscriptions to give us credibility and validation, because I'm trying to bring you some big names, and it makes it, the bigger we are, the more and more people who will be willing to sit with us and share their stories. So please like, share, subscribe and comment. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, Daniel.